The conference hall on Station Veritas smelled like fear and recycled air. Commander Vok stood at the podium, his 3 eyes darting between the assembled delegates from 47 different species. His mandibles clicked nervously, a tell that everyone in the room recognized but pretended not to notice. "So," began Ambassador THRYNN from her seat in the 3rd row, her voice dripping with the kind of sarcasm that could strip paint off a battleship. "You are telling us that you accidentally put humans on the galactic do not contact list? For 200 years? And nobody noticed?" Vok's skin flushed a deep purple. "Well, when you put it like that, it sounds bad." "It is bad," shouted Representative Quilm, slamming 4 of his 6 appendages on the desk. "The humans have been developing faster than any species in recorded history. They went from splitting atoms to splitting dimensions in less than a century. Do you have any idea what they could do if they found out we have been watching them this whole time?" A nervous ripple of chittering and humming filled the chamber. Vok raised his primary manipulator for silence. "Please, everyone needs to remain calm. The situation is under control." "Under control?" THRYNN stood up, her scales shimmering with barely contained rage. "My intelligence division just intercepted human transmissions about something they call quantum entanglement communication. They are 6 months, maybe a year, away from breaking through the dimensional barriers. When they do, they will see everything. Every probe we sent. Every observation post. Every single time we abducted one of them for study and wiped their memory." The chamber erupted into chaos. Well-organized chaos, because these were politicians after all, and they knew how to panic efficiently. Vok activated the sonic dampener. Everyone shut up instantly, nursing sudden headaches. "Thank you," Vok said, not sounding thankful at all. "Now I have called this emergency session because we have a decision to make. Do we maintain the quarantine and hope they do not break through? Or do we make first contact on our terms?" "First contact." Quilm laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Oh, yes, let us introduce ourselves. Hello, humans. Welcome to the galaxy. By the way, we have been studying you like lab specimens for centuries and classified your entire planet as a zoological preserve. Hope you are not angry." "They will declare war immediately," added Senator Cross from the back. "Humans are notoriously territorial and aggressive. Our xenopsychology teams have documented over 16,000 armed conflicts in just their last century alone. They make the Corvin berserkers look like peace-loving flower arrangers." THRYNN tapped her datapad, and a holographic display materialized above the center of the room. "Let me show you something interesting, shall we?" The image showed a small blue planet, 3rd from its star, with swirling white clouds and deep oceans. "Earth," she continued. "Unremarkable at first glance. Average star, average size, average everything. When the survey team first cataloged it 3,000 years ago, they noted primitive multicellular life and moved on. Standard procedure." She swiped, and the image changed to show early humans, barely more than upright primates. Fast forward to 200 years ago. The automated survey system flags Earth for review. Something has changed. The dominant species has developed language, tools, agriculture, and civilization. The review committee, in their infinite wisdom, decides to observe rather than make contact. After all, why rush? Species this young usually take 10, maybe 20,000 years to develop space flight. Another swipe. The image showed humans building rockets, then satellites, then space stations. But humans did not read the manual on how long development is supposed to take. They went from their first powered flight to landing on their moon in 66 years. 66. My species took 4,000 years to do the same thing. Murmurs of disbelief rippled through the chamber. So the committee panics. THRYNN continued, her sarcasm reaching new heights. They classify Earth as a developing world and strictly forbid any contact. They set up observation posts. They send probes. They even, and I am not making this up, they even authorized limited abduction and study programs to understand how humans were advancing so quickly. That was necessary for proper analysis. Vok protested weakly. Was it? THNN's eyes narrowed. Because what those studies found was terrifying. Do you know what makes humans different from every other species in the galaxy? Silence. They do not give up. Ever. You know what a human does when faced with an impossible problem? They solve it anyway. You know what they do when told something cannot be done? They do it out of spite. They have a saying on Earth. What does not kill you makes you stronger. And do you know what the truly horrifying part is? They actually believe it. She pulled up another image, this one showing human medical procedures. They regularly inject themselves with weakened diseases to build immunity. They break their own bones and let them heal stronger. They push their bodies to the absolute limit and call it exercise. They invented horror movies, entertainment specifically designed to terrify themselves, because apparently they enjoy fear. What kind of insane species does that? The dangerous kind, muttered Cross. Exactly. THRYNN pointed at him. And we have been poking them with probes for 200 years. Vok cleared his throat. In fairness, we stopped the abduction programs 50 years ago. Oh, well, that makes everything better. THRYNN threw her manipulators up in exasperation. I am sure when they find out they will be totally fine with it, because we stopped. Quilm leaned forward, his expression grave. What did you find, THRYNN? You did not call this emergency session just to yell at Vok, satisfying as that is. You found something. The ambassador's demeanor changed instantly, humor draining away like water down a drain. Yes, she said quietly. My team has been monitoring human academic networks. 3 days ago, a physicist named Marcus Webb published a paper. Most of his colleagues think he is crazy, but our analysts ran the math. She pulled up a dense page of equations. He is right. Completely, terrifyingly right. He has figured out how to create stable wormholes using principles we thought were impossible for a species at their development level to understand. More than that, he has figured out how to detect extra-dimensional observation. The temperature in the room seemed to drop several degrees. How long? Asked Vok, his voice barely a whisper. If someone actually builds his device? 6 months, maybe less. The moment they turn it on, they will see every single observation post we have in their dimension. All 47 of them. Shut them down, Cross suggested. Immediately. And what happens when they notice dozens of structures suddenly vanishing from their dimensional scans? THRYNN countered. You think that will make them less suspicious? Vok slumped in his chair, a gesture that looked wrong on his arthropod frame. Options. I need options. We could destroy the research, offered someone from the back. Hundreds of people have already downloaded the paper. THRYNN shot back. You want to try memory wiping hundreds of humans simultaneously? Because the last time we tried something like that on a large scale, we accidentally erased 3 months of memories from an entire city, and they still have not figured out what happened. It became an unsolved mystery. They write books about it. They love unsolved mysteries. We could blame it on another species, suggested Quilm. Tell them the observation posts belong to, I do not know, the Zelther Consortium? The Zelther have been extinct for 600 years. Exactly. No one to contradict us. THRYNN massaged her eye ridges. Has anyone in this room considered, and I know this is crazy, but has anyone considered just telling them the truth? The silence that followed was profound. You cannot be serious, Vok finally said. Why not? Look, humans are going to find out eventually. We can either let them discover it on their own and be rightfully furious, or we can get ahead of it. Full disclosure. Apologize for the observation programs. Explain that we were trying to understand them because they scared us. Humans actually have a concept for this. They call it ripping off the bandage. Quick, painful, but over fast. They will go to war, Kraz insisted. Maybe, THRYNN acknowledged. Or maybe they will surprise us. Our entire understanding of humans is based on watching them deal with each other. We have no data on how they react to actual aliens. They might be furious. They might also be curious. They might want to talk. We do not know because we never tried. A junior aide raised a tentacle hesitantly. Excuse me? I have been reviewing the Human Cultural Database. They have an entire genre of entertainment about this exact scenario. They call it science fiction. And, prompted THRYN. And in most of their stories, when aliens make first contact, humans are usually excited and welcoming. They imagine scenarios where aliens are hostile, sure, but also ones where we become friends, trade partners, allies. They actually want us to exist. Vok sat up straighter. Showed me. The aide brought up clips from human movies and television. Star Trek, where humans worked alongside dozens of alien species. Arrival, where they tried to communicate peacefully. Contact, where they built machines just for the chance to meet us. They are optimistic, Vok said, sounding surprised. Dangerously so, Kraz muttered. That kind of naivety could get them killed. Or, THRYN said slowly, it could be exactly what the galaxy needs. She stood and addressed the full chamber. We have spent 10,000 years convinced that any species capable of space flight is a potential threat. We spy on each other. We maintain massive militaries. We trust no one. And yes, we survive. But we do not thrive. We stagnate. She gestured to the images of Earth still floating in the center of the room. Humans went from caves to quantum physics in 10,000 years. We have been using the same basic technology for 100,000. Maybe we are the ones who have been doing it wrong. Maybe what we need is a species too stupid to know when something is impossible. That is the most terrifying endorsement I have ever heard, Quilm said. But he was smiling. Vok stood up, his decision made. We vote. Should we initiate first contact with Earth before they discover us on their own? All in favor. Slowly, hesitantly, manipulators and appendages and pseudopods rose into the air. Not all of them. Maybe not even most. But enough. Motion passes, Vok announced. May the ancestors forgive us. THRYN, you have argued most passionately for this course of action. I am putting you in charge of the contact team. You have 6 months to figure out how to tell a species of borderline insane primates that we have been watching them like a reality show for 2 centuries. Try not to start an interstellar war. No pressure then, THRYN muttered. As the chamber emptied, Quilm approached her. You really think this will work? She watched the image of Earth spinning slowly in the holographic display. Honestly, I have no idea, but I would rather take the chance now than wait for them to come looking for us. Because they will eventually, and I would prefer they find neighbors instead of enemies. Fair enough, Quilm agreed. So what is your plan? THRYN smiled, showing way too many teeth. I am going to Earth. Someone needs to explain this mess in person. And if I am wrong and they do declare war. She shrugged. Well, at least I will have a front row seat to the most interesting diplomatic disaster in galactic history. The hardest part about traveling to Earth, THRYN decided, was not the actual journey through dimensional space. It was not even the risk of starting an interstellar incident. No, the hardest part was picking which human to talk to first. Why not just broadcast a message to everyone, asked Quilm, who had insisted on coming along despite THRYN's protests. Something about not wanting to miss the excitement, which was politician speak for not wanting to miss the opportunity to say, I told you so, if everything went wrong. Because, THRYN explained for the 5th time, humans have a terrible track record with mass panic. Remember when they broadcast a fictional radio drama about an alien invasion in 1938? People fled their homes. They barricaded themselves in churches. One man fired a shotgun at a water tower because he thought it was a tripod war machine. And that was just from a radio show. Their ship, disguised as a particularly unremarkable communications satellite, orbited Earth at a safe distance. Close enough to observe, far enough to run if necessary. So we talked to one human first, Quilm said, reviewing the data on his screen. Build trust, let them help us introduce ourselves to the rest. Smart. Who did you pick? THRYN pulled up a file. Marcus Webb, the physicist who figured out the dimensional detection equation. He is smart, he is curious, and according to our psychological profile, he is less likely to panic than most. Less likely is not the same as will not, Quilm pointed out. Nothing about this plan is certain. We are making this up as we go. Welcome to First Contact. She pressed a button, and a tight-beam communication laser locked onto Marcus Webb's apartment in Seattle. According to their surveillance, which yes, was still active, and yes, she felt terrible about it. He was home alone working on his equations. Time to ruin his evening. The transmission was simple. A mathematical proof in pure radio waves, demonstrating knowledge of physics beyond anything humans had published. Then a message in English, because of course they had learned every human language, including 3 that had gone extinct during their observation period. Hello, Marcus Webb. My name is Ambassador T-H-O-N-N. I am calling from a ship currently orbiting your planet. I know this sounds insane. I know you have no reason to believe me. But in approximately 15 seconds, I am going to prove I am real by making the lights in your apartment flash 3 times. Please do not panic. I just want to talk. She cut the transmission and activated the electromagnetic pulse generator. 3 quick bursts, carefully calibrated to flicker his lights without damaging anything. They waited. He is going to call the police, Quilm predicted. He is going to check his circuit breaker, THRYNN countered. He is going to think he is having a stroke. He is a physicist. He is going to be curious. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Their sensors showed Marcus moving around his apartment, checking windows, examining his computer. Finally, he sat down at his desk and started typing. What is he doing? Quilm asked. THRYNN checked the data stream. He is running signal analysis on his Wi-Fi router, trying to see if someone hacked it to send the message locally. Smart. Will he find anything? Not a chance. Our transmission was tighter than anything human technology can detect. Marcus spent another 20 minutes running tests. Then he did something unexpected. He grabbed a notebook, wrote something down, and held it up to his window. THRYNN zoomed in the visual sensors. The message read, "If you are real, answer this." Below, it was a complex mathematical equation, one that had no solution in 3-dimensional space, but had an elegant answer in 4 dimensions. Oh, I like him, THRYNN said, grinning. She transmitted the solution. 3 seconds later, Marcus dropped the notebook. He sat down hard on his couch, ran his hands through his hair, and started laughing. Not hysterical laughter, but the kind of genuine amusement that comes from having your entire worldview flipped upside down and realizing it is actually kind of funny. Okay, he shouted at his ceiling. You are real. You are actually real. This is the best day of my life, or I am having the most interesting mental breakdown in history. THRYNN opened the communication channel again. I promise you are not having a breakdown. Although I understand why you might think that. Is it safe to continue talking? Marcus grabbed his phone, then hesitated. Should I be recording this? That is entirely up to you. But before you do, I should warn you that what I am about to tell you is going to be disturbing. More disturbing than aliens are real, and one is calling me? Significantly more disturbing, yes. Marcus put the phone down. All right, I am listening. THRYNN took a breath she did not technically need. For the last 200 years, multiple alien species have been observing Earth. We have probes in orbit. We have sensors in your oceans. We have been studying your civilization without your knowledge or consent. And we are here now because you are about 6 months away from developing technology that will let you detect all of it. The silence stretched out for nearly a minute. So, Marcus finally said, his voice carefully controlled. You are telling me that aliens are real. You have been spying on us for 2 centuries, and you only decided to introduce yourselves because we are about to catch you? Yes. And you thought I would not panic upon hearing this? You are doing remarkably well so far. Marcus stood up and started pacing. Okay. Let me process this. You have been watching us for 200 years. What exactly does that mean? Like nature documentary watching or creepy surveillance watching? THRYNN winced. More the second one, unfortunately. We monitored your communications, studied your behavior, analyzed your cultures. We also, and this is the really bad part, we conducted some abduction studies in the early years. You what? We stopped 50 years ago. THRYNN added quickly. And we always returned the subjects unharmed. Mostly unharmed. There were a few incidents with dairy cows that we regret. Oh my God, Marcus said, sitting back down. Oh my God. All those alien abduction stories. All the conspiracy theories. They were right. Do you have any idea how insufferable the conspiracy theorists are going to be about this? That is your main concern. Right now, yes, because if I think too hard about the existential implications, I might actually panic. He took several deep breaths. Okay. Why me? Why are you telling me first? Because you figured out how to detect us. That makes you the smartest human we know when it comes to dimensional physics. We need someone smart to help us figure out how to tell everyone else without causing mass hysteria. Marcus laughed again, more edge to it this time. You want me to help you announce that aliens are real and have been spying on humanity for centuries? That is insane. I am a physicist, not a diplomat. Would you prefer we just broadcast it to everyone and see what happens? No. God, no. He paused. Although that would be funny in a horrifying way. Can you imagine the internet? We have been monitoring your internet. THRYNN admitted. It is simultaneously the best and worst thing your species has ever created. Fair assessment. Marcus was quiet for a moment. Can I see you? I mean, what do you look like? THRYNN hesitated. That might be premature. Why? Are you scary looking? Because I have seen pictures of deep-sea fish. I can handle weird. It is not about weird. It is about managing expectations. First contact protocols suggest a gradual introduction. Your first contact protocols included spying on us for 200 years. I think we can skip some steps. He had a point. THRYNN activated the visual transmission, sending her image to his computer screen. Marcus stared. You look like a dragon had a baby with a lizard, and that baby went to law school. That is oddly specific. It is the scales and the business suit energy. Are there other species? 47 in the local galactic council. 47. And how many look human? Define human. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head, generally mammalian. Maybe 3? For if you count the Yeltrin, but they have antennae. Most species evolved under different conditions. Different gravity, different atmospheres, different evolutionary pressures. Marcus was grinning now, the fear replaced by excitement. This is incredible. This is actually incredible. Do you have faster than light travel? Energy weapons? Artificial intelligence? Yes to all 3. Though your artificial intelligence is developing faster than we expected. Some of our analysts think you might surpass us within a decade. Because we are not afraid of making it too smart. Because you actively try to break it to see what happens. No other species does that. Healthy skepticism is important. Healthy is debatable, THRYNN muttered. Then louder, Marcus, I need your help. We have 6 months before your detection device goes live. We need to use that time to prepare humanity for contact. That means choosing the right people to tell, the right way to tell them, and the right way to apologize for 2 centuries of surveillance. You keep saying surveillance. Let me be very clear about something. Marcus's expression turned serious. What you did, watching us without consent, taking people against their will, that is a violation, a massive one. I do not care that you stopped. I do not care that you had good intentions. You violated our autonomy as a species. I know, THRYNN said quietly. You are right. We were wrong. The council was afraid, and fear made us cautious, and caution made us cowards. We should have made contact decades ago. Why were you afraid? Because you terrify us, Marcus. You advance too fast. You take risks that would horrify any other species. You turn disasters into opportunities and impossibilities into challenges. Every model we have says you should have destroyed yourselves in nuclear fire decades ago. But you did not. You survived. You thrived. And we did not know how to deal with a species that refuses to follow the rules. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. You know what the funny thing is? We were afraid too. Afraid we were alone in the universe. Afraid we were the only ones asking questions. And now I find out we were being watched the whole time by people too scared to say hello. It does sound pathetic when you put it that way. Because it is pathetic. You have faster than light travel and energy weapons and 47 species in your council, and you were too scared to talk to a bunch of humans who were still figuring out how not to kill each other. In our defense, that last part was concerning. Fair, Marcus admitted. So what happens now? Now we have 6 months to figure out how to introduce humanity to the galaxy without starting a war. Are you in? Marcus looked at his apartment, at his equations on the wall, at the computer screen showing an alien ambassador asking for his help. He thought about all the conspiracy theorists who were about to be vindicated. He thought about the world leaders who would need to be briefed. He thought about the sheer chaos that was about to be unleashed. Then he smiled. I want full access to your technology database. I want to visit your ship, and I want you to promise me that humanity gets a seat at that council of yours. The database is negotiable. The ship visit can be arranged, but the council seat will require a vote. Then we better make sure they vote yes. Because if there is one thing humans are good at, it is being too stubborn to take no for an answer. THRYNN felt something she had not felt in years. Hope. Welcome to the galactic community, Marcus Webb. Try not to break too many things. No promises, he said, already grabbing his coat. Now, where am I meeting you? Because I have about 1 million questions, and we are burning daylight. As THRYNN transmitted the coordinates for the landing site, Quilm leaned over and whispered, You know this is either the best decision we ever made or the worst mistake in galactic history, right? Absolutely, THRYNN agreed. But either way, it is going to be interesting. And as their ship descended through Earth's atmosphere for the first time in 200 years, not as observers, but as visitors, THRYNN could not help but think that interesting was exactly what the galaxy needed. The humans were coming, and nothing was ever going to be the same.